Did you trust in the bust? Bitcoin right now attempts to initiate a giga breakout from a multi-month consolidation pattern we've been predicting for weeks. As Citadel, Fidelity, and Charles Schwab launch a new crypto exchange platform. The writing is on the wall, and what is happening could not be more obvious. And what it means for us Moon Boys, well, let's just say it's pretty big. Right now, the price of Bitcoin is having its first inch and squinch above the $27,000 level in quite a long time. And in fact, we are now breaking above the 50-day moving average critical. And we're breaking out of some of the key patterns that, if you guys watch this channel, you know I've been talking about and predicting for weeks. And here we are. This is very big. And we have some fundamental news underlying this as well. And honestly, I don't say this very often, but this is pretty big. And as you guys know, I said I was going to long this move, and currently I'm up about 15,000 USD in profit. But if you're interested in any massive bonuses, check out the links in the description below. With Femex, you can earn free XPT and massive sign up and welcome bonuses as well. So if we take a sneak peek at Bitcoin, we're having our first little rip above this pattern. Okay, this is big. I want to see at least like 2 daily candles above 27,000 before getting too excited. But guys, as I said yesterday in a video I made late last night, what we are in store for, I believe, is one of these big rips. This is why this is exciting to me. Whenever I see a massive bust, a giant bust, that's when I get excited. And I think that we have the ability to have a giant bust out of this pattern. And I'll show you again why. But first I want to talk about this. So just in, Citadel, Fidelity, and Charles Schwab launching new crypto exchange platforms. Why? Well, I think it's become clear to everyone just over the past day or so that this Bitcoin bull cycle will be the very first one where institutions are not only involved and, start offering crypto services halfway through the cycle or halfway through the bull market or something like that. No, they want to be the only ones in the US offering these services. They want to get all of your fees. They want to get all of your money. They want to knock out things like Coinbase, like Binance. They want to take everyone that's been here for years out, and they want to take control. They want to make the money. Now, if you look at this, there's a lot of good and bad about this. It's not just one thing. It's not just bad, and it's not just good. I think you could maybe make a case that long-term this is maybe bad. But I do want to highlight that if that is the case, if these players, which they are, BlackRock, Citadel, Deutsche Bank, NASDAQ, if they're getting into Bitcoin and they want to offer these services, you better believe that the price, that the institutional adoption will be unlike anything you've ever seen. If you thought institutions were getting in big in the last cycle, which they did for the very first time, they got in a little bit. If you think that was exciting though, and if you thought that pumped the price of Bitcoin, just wait and see what it will do during this bull market. This will be the very first bull market where we have, what they want is complete dominance in terms of they want you to be using their platforms. And they really want to get in desperately here. And I mean, in terms of that, there's no way to look at that bearishly. There are other things that are, I personally think, not good about that. But ultimately, the price of crypto, the price of Bitcoin, not only, saying it'll get a spring boost or a little pump from this is an understatement. This will be insane for actual adoption. And as we talked about, right, we posted this just 2 days ago, about 27,000 being kind of the very important level. I want to see 1 or 2 daily closes here. And, are we breaking out? Absolutely. This is the very beginning of this. I wouldn't get too excited yet because I think we need to really cement this over the next day or two, like I said. But ultimately, this can get very, very big. Not to mention the stock market is down today. So it's good seeing Bitcoin perform well while that's happening. But I do want to highlight this posted on Twitter. Gary Gensler misses entirety of the FTX scandal, embarrasses the SEC, and now we see Fidelity, BlackRock, Citadel saying they don't really care and they're trying to enter crypto. This is very good, in my opinion, for crypto. As the Wolf of Wall Street talks about this, the SEC pushed too hard, too far, and too fast. SEC and Gary Gensler look horrible, and it most likely will result in a series of losses in court against crypto, and the first probably being XRP, meaning XRP winning or Ripple winning their case. It's going to be a long battle, but I ultimately think this is ultimately going to end up being bullish, where everyone was so scared of everything at the bottom, as always, right? Everyone was so bearish at the bottom, and here we are. One of the biggest factors, Will says here, holding back capital allocators from buying Bitcoin was reputational risk. but with the number 1 and number 3 largest asset managers in the world being BlackRock and Fidelity, and they're both endorsing Bitcoin, there's, the reputational risk is basically not there anymore. And Mustache, El Crypto Prof on Twitter, talking about the very first golden cross of the 20 and 200 moving averages on this 1 week chart. We've never crossed bearish here like we did back here in late 2022, and we did. We went below this line. However, we'll get our very first insanely big golden cross. We see this happening here as well. We had this death cross back in September of 2022, which happened just before the FTX collapse. And here we are as well. I think the momentum here is unreal. I think there's so much momentum coming into crypto. They're not trying to kill it. Wolf of Wall Street also points out. They're trying to kill the current crypto industry and then hand it over to their friends, being JP Morgan, Schwab, BlackRock, Citadel. They don't want Binance. They don't want Coinbase. They don't want all these new guys that have only entered the financial space over the last few years. They don't want them making all the money like they did in the last bull run. Coinbase, Binance benefited massively in the 2020-2021 bull market. Huge. They benefited the most, I would say, right? And they don't want that. They want a piece of the pie, and not only do they want a piece, they want the whole chalupa, right? They want the whole big thing. They don't want to take a little nibble. They want to take a big old bite. And they're going to do everything to try to legally make that happen, meaning lawsuits, corruption, SEC, all that stuff. And that's what we've been seeing. And speaking of that, CZ Binance himself saying about Deutsche Bank applying for a digital license. Everyone knows what's happening at this point. Will also saying surely BlackRock, Fidelity, Citadel, Schwab are all trying to get a piece of Bitcoin because they think it's a Ponzi scheme that's worthless, right? Absolutely not. They're trying to make money on this. They're only saying those things, if they're still saying them, because they want the price to go lower so they can buy more of it. Aside from Bitcoin breaking out of this multi-month falling wedge descending channel, we see Bitcoin potentially, this is where the big juice comes into play over the next couple of weeks. If this inverse head and shoulders completes, a target up to even $40,000 becomes very big. This gets very exciting here. Okay. If we look on the long-term charts of Bitcoin, again, I think there's so much juice. I think we should, I'm excited over the next few days to see how this breakout plays out. Breaking 28,000 ultimately, I'll say this, and I've said it a couple days ago, I think on Twitter. The next time Bitcoin breaks 30,000, it's going a lot higher than 30,000 is my firm opinion here. I think the next time Bitcoin breaks that level, it's going to go much higher. Here's $30,000 right here. Here, where we got rejected most recently in April. We initially came up here, got rejected. Say we hold support where we are now and come up to 30K again. I don't think we're stopping at 30K. I think that $40,000 target becomes realistic when we break 40K. So that is a massive opportunity, and that's what I've been saying for the past few weeks, and that's why I'm long on this move. I think it's obvious. I think the risk to reward is beautiful. I think that this is the type of setup that you look for, and you may only get once or twice per year, depending even what year we are of the 4-year cycle, depending on where we are in that area. This is one of those beautiful moments that I think it's silly to waste, and I've been preaching that over and over and over for weeks and weeks. And now this fundamental news from a lot of these institutions that want to get their hands on crypto, how could you not be bullish? Long term, is there bad things that are going to come out of that? Absolutely. I'm sure there is. I can already think of a few, but I'm sure there's a bunch that I can't even think of yet. But ultimately, this makes the narrative, the idea of Bitcoin having, again, a massive bust here, in the short term even, over the next week or two, absolutely gargantuan. And take advantage of massive trading and deposit bonuses if you're interested with my links below if you sign up. In addition, earn free XBT, get massive welcome bonuses. Additionally, I'm up about $15,000 on this trade here. But ultimately, if this trade goes half as good as I think it should over the next month, then these should be baloney numbers compared to what I think I can make on these trades. If we get, again, like I said, even half of the breakout I think we're going to get. Without further ado, it's free.